Alright everyone, welcome to my presentation on modifying assessment for low-level readers. I interviewed three of our teachers at my middle school, Todd County Middle School. Jennifer Sinclair, who is an exceptional education teacher. She works primarily in the 7th grade and with some of our lower level students. Sandra Dalton, which is our exceptional education teacher on the 8th grade. And Margaret Swanson, our language arts teacher in the 7th grade. So my first question was, how do you identify those who need modification on the assessment? They were all fairly similar on this. First off, of course, is IEP students. We need to follow their IEPs. That's why they exist. Secondly, of course, we can have students that score low on language arts tests. For those of us like myself who do not have those, we can easily access them normally by just asking our language arts teachers for those scores. And the last two actually tie together: formative assessments and of course getting to know the students, which can in and of itself be a type of formative assessment. Getting to know the students seems to be pretty much a theme for the first half of this presentation. Secondly, how do you modify multiple choice questions? Because love them or hate them, many tests are made out of multiple choice. So first off, we can reduce the number of questions. How much exactly? Again, depends on the student's needs. My tests normally start off with 4 choices, but depending on the level of the student, we can have 3 or 2 choices for the multiple choice questions. The thing that's important though is to keep what our one teacher called the near distractor. The option that is close to the real answer, but just isn't quite it. That is to distract the students from the real answer if they don't know what they're doing. Question 3 was about our short answer questions. Would you even use them with students that are low level at reading? And they actually surprised me. Again, it depends on the student. Get to know the students, know who can handle it and who can't. And when you do give them, especially for the lower level students, focus on key items. Maybe not have as many questions that are short answer, but they focus on the key terms. The thing that I found surprising though is this is not necessarily a reading level problem. I was told several times that it's more of the cognitive functioning of the student rather than related to their reading level. Question 4, and this is a tricky one that has always given me trouble. How do you tell what a student's best effort is on a short answer question? Ask them. Surprisingly, most students will actually tell you the truth, whether or not they gave their best answer or were just giving minimal effort. And of course, our good old friends, getting to know the student and formative assessment. Know what they can do, know what they can't do, and you can actually compare their current work to their past work to see if they were giving their best. 5. How do you create and give multiple tests without drawing attention to those special needs students? This is a tricky one because if we have to modify tests, obviously we're going to have several versions and we don't want to draw attention to those who are just getting the special version. Classic technique is dealing from the bottom of the pile. You have the normal test on the top, you have the bottom, is the modified test, and you have the names of the students already on them. So that when you get to that student, you can just deal from the bottom and they get the modified test. One teacher in particular had a really sneaky method of doing this. She asked some of her students to leave to make more space in the room, but they went off with the exceptional education staff to take their test. And of course, we can ask them if they actually need the modified test. They know their needs best of all, and sometimes they feel like they can probably take the regular test. 6. How would you phrase complicated concepts so that low-level readers would understand them? This comes up quite a bit considering I do science. So for this, we break it into pieces. Instead of doing one massive thing, you can split it up into small pieces and then bring it back together. And secondly, relate it to current knowledge, which is a good teaching technique no matter where you are. 7. What would be the best alternate assessments other than standard tests, aka multiple choice, which would be best for low-level readers? An option here is doing an oral test, either in person or having the teacher record the test for the student. Other times, especially if you're doing writing exercises, having pictures drawn by the students, even if they aren't very good pictures, can help you see whether or not they know the answers. And there are online programs like Think Through Math or other online tools that can help you assess their reading levels. So how would you set up a reading assessment for a low-level reader? Peer projects work really well. Again, if you have students in the group that can help them along with the reading skills, that can boost them so they can accomplish the projects. And if you have tons of time, it can sometimes help to actually record the test. Basically have the teacher speak the test, record it, so they can play it back. Obviously this takes a lot of time and effort, but nowadays, especially with audio recording systems like the one I'm using now, it can be much, much easier. 9. How can I make sure the reading level of an assignment is appropriate for our low-level readers? There are actually several ways of doing this. The easiest way is using online apps. There are several websites, readabilityscore.com and readable.com, that will tell you the grade level of your text, either by copying and pasting it into their app, or you can actually take a URL and just plop it into the app, and it will tell you the reading level. In the past, I've also gone to our language arts teachers and had them and consulted them to see if my projects were at the student reading level. The one that surprised me is Word. We use it all the time, and most versions of Word have a language tool that does a simple grade analysis. It's under word count on most computers. That does things like number of words, but it also tells you the grade level at which your writing piece is at. And of course, you can check them against the student's reading level. 10. Is there anything else I need to know about modifying assignments for a low-level reader? Again, this is kind of student relationships. Get to know them, and then trust your teaching soul, pretty much. Trust your instincts, go with what works. If it doesn't work, try something else until you find something that works. Basic scientific method in action. And then, of course, at the very end of the day, take the best that they can give. Know what they can achieve too, and then take it. Okay? So that's my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit about our low-level readers. Have a nice day.